If you compare private debt markets today and 5 years ago, I think a lot more people and institutions and type of institutions are involved, doing a lot more different deals. I think deal types have evolved, have learned through Europe. So that was also the purpose of the whole event, I think, learning from cases and providing good examples of how we think private debt should be implemented. Looking back, I think some of the most exciting and stimulating events of the last 5 years for the market have been, I think, first of all, the creation of the European Private Placement Association 4 years ago. That was September 14. I think in 14 and 15 a lot of work has been done under ICMA with the Working Group on Private Placements. In addition, the French EuroPP working group and initiative and the guide was very essential for growing the French market. I think that's been a great example also for Europe. And lastly, I think Capital Markets Union and recently European plans and also stimulus towards the EU Action Plan. So a lot of good stimulus coming from Brussels, actually, stimulating the market, have been instrumental in growing it, I think. I think if you look at a pan-European market, we would love to have that compared to the US, for instance, a big, broad market. There are still regional differences in investor behavior and regulation across Europe. If you look at bankruptcy laws, if you look at the implementation of Solvency II, for instance, for insurance companies, regulation of pension assets, these differences are still there in Europe. I think step by step we learn how to deal with that on a pan-European level, but still there's no level playing field yet. Other issue last few years obviously was the amount of free money provided by the ECB. So there was a lot of competition, if you like, from bank financing again, which after the crisis strongly came back thanks to the ECB. So that has been a competitor, if you like, for this private debt provision. Yeah, and I think the other thing is that helps a lot is that companies learn how to access these markets. So it's been a long learning process, but so far I think companies step by step learn to take advantage of these new sources of funding. I think we'll see a continuation if you like, for the last 3 years going forward, unless the ECB and central banks may make a mistake. So we'll have faster rising interest rates, we may have more difficult bond markets, because I think if you look at also the American example, the best periods for private markets have been the markets where there was a crisis in the banking financing system. So I'm not hoping for that, but it could be a good stimulus, of course. And then I think the strength of having an alternative financing market available would help a lot. I think also Capital Markets Union, regulatory push also for including institutional financing for the more sustainable future of Europe. So the EU Action Plan, if you like, is going to be very important. It is going to push institutional investors because there's a tremendous amount of money needed to finance the energy transition, to get back into planetary boundaries from a global and a European perspective. And I think their regulators will push for more provision of private debt. I continue to support the event because I believe in the long-term role of institutional investors. I think we're here to collect savings, other people's money, if you like, because it's not our money, and allocate that back to where it came from, the real economy, the real people, the workers, the people who save the money, who need the jobs, but also need the roads and the infrastructure to live in. I think so, if you like, creating a circular finance world is part of private debt, I think. The realization for institutional investors that they are here to finance the real world, to support and enable the real world economic progress and sustainability is what I believe in. You have to be patient and have a long-term view, so I'm also long-term committed to this effort. I think one of the strong points of the event has always been that we brought people together and we didn't dictate the program, this is what you should know. We let people bring their stories and their cases and share their experience. We also leave room for debate, meeting people and sharing good cases, and we always hope for the next year that they come back with these new successful financing and private debt examples.